my area, but this is where we start off our season stuff. If I'm loud, it's because I'm listening to music in my flow right now. If you want to see what I'm doing, kind of see it from here. You more clever. I want it. I'm in a good mood today. Talk you. There's thousands of these to pluck. Thousands. But could not want. And I just can't lie. If you have a problem with girls with unshaved armpits, mine grow in this triangle, and I don't shave. I know. Why would I mess up the perfect triangle of hair growth? Unfortunately, I've let the forest reclaim the trees too. But at some point, I'm gonna take care of that this summer. Girl, I want. So today, I actually made it out the house. I went to Weimar with my husband and got some spring deep cleaning stuff. He does not want me throwing these on the floor, so let me put these in this little bucket. Oh, 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 please. For love, 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 love. Girl, I want to know. Hey. Talk for a minute. Come on and talk to me, baby. Can we talk? Say I wanna know. You better tell me your name, baby. So talk to me for a minute. Come on and talk to me a minute. This is what I'm doing, guys. I'm what's up? Oh yeah, and give me your number and I'll call. When I was younger, man, I never thought for once in my life that I'd end up being a farmer. Like, no. I didn't like the outdoors. I met my husband. I owned flip flops and high heels. I had no in between shoes. I didn't even own tennis shoes. Very first time we went camping, we were on our honeymoon, right? And he told me to go gather some wood in order to help start the fire, get some kindling. And I immediately went to a live tree and start cutting off green branches. I'm like, I'm over here murdering trees. My husband laughed his ass off. He thought it was very funny. He was like, no. You pick up the dried twigs from the ground. And that's crazy because I was raised in the country. I've started fires and things like that. But now that I think back on it, that was a sign of my GIG that I didn't recognize. It was one of my personalities that knew nothing about fire or anything of that such. What the hell? Hold on for a second. My phone's ringing. No, it is not ringing now. Sorry about this, guys. So I try to stay in communication with people I care about. I've been a bad communicator. wife made me a lavender iced tea. So yeah, my life goal when I grew up, when I was a kid, I don't think it was never to be a farmer. Um, like when I was growing up, I don't even know if I thought that I was gonna actually grow up, and so I made no plans. I made no plans. We bounced between shelters, between houses with relatives and stuff. So I didn't feel like I could make plans. Even young, I knew that our life was unstable and not the way it should be. But what do you do about it as a kid? You just keep going. And you know, the older I get, the less angry at my parents I am. I really am. I see that from the other side of the coin now. And man, that was hard. Making money ain't easy. Taking care of kids, making money, being a good parent, none of that's easy. All of that's an investment of time, work, and love. And if you're not ready to give all that, you shouldn't do it. Man, if all the things I actually did not know um, until after 30 are hilarious to me now because they're common sense. Like that pain in my gut being hunger. Yeah. I know I talk about my DID a lot and a little bit about my ADHD, but I never talk about my autism. How a lot of times I don't even recognize sarcasm well. I'm learning, I'm getting better. And you know what? Autism shouldn't be a big deal anymore. It should be enough of us to know that this has been around for a long time ago. Like Self said a long time, he's autistic. Well, we used to put them in the military and make them pay the bugle. Seth MacFarlane. Oh my gosh. He used to be such my crush. I don't know what it is about him. I know he's not traditionally attractive, but there's something about a man that's funny. And his really 80s humor really, whoa, he was been a man of my fantasy for a long time. Like, who fantasizes about Seth MacFarlane? But also his little friend, the little redhead guy. Oh my God, what is his name? He's the one that sings, Daddy! Oh my God. Daddy's gone. Dang it, I gotta remember his name. But, yeah, they can get it. No, seriously though, I used to, like, one of my bedtime stories was me becoming a famous writer and meeting Seth MacFarlane and falling in love. But everybody says don't meet your heroes, and he's one of my comic heroes, weirdly. Yes, I'm black, and Seth MacFarlane is one of my comic heroes. I have others, but he's one. And so, um, and like it was going to be this epic meeting, and we'd fall in love. I was already married. You know, multiple personalities makes you feel like you can have multiple loves sometimes. It's not how it works for your other partner. Your partner only has one personality. And so you got to take that into account. But yeah, my very first big love, though, my first love that broke my heart, that I didn't think was ever going to ever go anywhere ever, was Heavy D. I was so in love with that man. All of his music always talked about how much he just needed and wanted to be loved, to have somebody love him for who he was, to be accepted. And all of his music was like that. Heavy D always talked about being loved, being accepted, being celebrated, being. Whew. And that was the sexiest thing in the world. Like, I want somebody to love me for me. That's all I ever wanted. And that's what Heavy D wanted. And what's crazy is he died of what I almost died of. He died of a I think it was a massive pulmonary embolism. I had a massive PE. My survival rate was like 1%. So I was part of the 1% on that PE. But yeah, Shawty wanna club. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I actually did date a thug for like 5 minutes. Um, I think he's still doing okay. He's still alive, so and he's not in jail, so I guess that's okay. But oh my gosh, one of my biggest memories of when I was with Bump was we were living on Granby Street, right in the hood, and we had no money. Like the lights were out, the house was full of roaches, the kids were hungry. It was crazy, and so I decided that I was gonna go with Bump and help him do what Bump did. You know what? I'm not gonna tell his business. Everybody know what Bump did in the hood. But anyway, I was helping him take care of one of these situations, and as we were trying to make our getaway, someone started busting at us. Like we were running hard, and they were busting at us. I felt like I could feel that bullet go right past my ear, man. And that was the last time I thought I could go out and do hood shit. Like after that, I was like, am I really the type of girl that can do hood shit, or am I just fucking around? But for a while, when Gigi was in charge of the body for real, we do a lot of hood stuff. Like we were one of those girls that would hide the gun in the top of the car, hide the drugs, take the charge. That was so stupid. That's the stupidest thing in the world. But my whole family was hood. And so I thought it wasn't stupid. That was dedication. What? You not down for? You not down? So I can. You collect your kiss. So the only example I've ever had of a man being good to a woman that I was growing up as an example of love. Let me see. Mr. and Mrs. CB. They used to own the store right across the street in Claiborne Homes. It burned down. They were so wonderful. But in Memphis, in the projects, the foot homes, Mr. and Mrs. CB were like the only examples of black love that I saw. They'd been married for like 20 years at that time when I was a kid. And man, Mr. and Mrs. CB loved each other. And you could tell. And they loved the kids too. Because they knew how hard the projects were. It was during the time you can be sitting across the street with a note to go pick up, cigarettes and things like that. And she always knew we were hungry. And so, even when we were sent to go pick up cigarettes and stuff, she'd stick some noodles in the bag. You know what I mean? Like, and she always had these gloriously beautiful nails. Before, like, long nails were in, Mrs. CB had, like, these long, beautifully glorious nails. And I absolutely just adored how classy she was, how compassionate she was, even to people who were like, she worked in the hood. She was in Claiborne Homes. Everybody knows Memphis, that knows Memphis know what Claiborne Homes was. And I'm not talking about the Claiborne Homes and Huntsville and Hoodfoot Homes that ended up being patrolled by horses and, getting a revamp. I'm talking about that concrete jungle we lived in. I lived in the concrete jungle part of Claiborne Homes. And if you lived in the jungle part of Claiborne Homes, especially in the 90s, you knew Mr. and Mrs. CB. You had to. Because they took care of the whole neighborhood. That was the whole neighborhood corner store. What was so wonderful about these people is that even after we left Memphis and we moved to Texas, Mr. and Mrs. CB knew how much I loved candy. So one day after school, unexpectedly, it was right before Christmas, we received a box full of like this big and that deep of just candy from Mr. and Mrs. CB. And just the fact that they still remembered us. And I wish I knew how to get back in touch with them to tell them after all these years that I still remember that kindness. My God, I remember that kindness. I really hated that their store burned down. Their store burned down in Memphis. And I did hate how, because they, after their store burned down in Memphis, one of my friends has actually told me about it that still lived there. She said after their store burned down, they were telling everybody, look, don't come loot the store. We got to get this insurance stuff done, right? I got to have everything out here to make sure when I do my insurance claim and that nothing's missing. And, man, no matter how much, how good they were in that neighborhood, people still went over there and stole all that stuff before they can get their insurance claim. And I was so brokenhearted to find that out. I'm like, they took care of the whole neighborhood, and they told y'all you can have it all after your insurance claim. And people still went and stole. And it makes me wonder how much of a toss of souls this world is. Did nobody else see the beauty? Did something else? Was I missing something in these people? I don't think I was. I will always be thankful to Mr. and Mrs. CB, Claiborne Holmes. Man, everybody remembers how hard it was after I lived next door to Peppa. Peppa was older. I remember Marquette, Peppa, Kenny with the big booty. I used to be crazy about Kenny. My first kiss was a very cute boy. His name was Cedric. I forgot. I think it was Cedric. He had on some of those 60s shorts with the stripes up the side. And they were like short. He had these thickest glasses in the universe. And they were brown. They looked like the glasses you get in the military. And we were on the porch in Claiborne Homes. It was summer. And I thought he was the most beautiful boy. I liked nerds the whole time all my life. And he kissed me. My first consensual kiss on the porch in Claiborne Homes. It was beautiful, explosively magnificent as a kid. I mean, it was the most perfect first kiss. Neither one of us knew what we were doing. There was so much drool. But both of us knew that we didn't want to kiss anybody else first. I always wonder what happened to him. His family got out the hood. And I was so happy. He was a smart kid. And his mother was a beautifully smart and educated woman. And I always hope that they got out of Claiborne Homes. I know that that summer was the last summer that I saw him. It's so crazy how you remember these little things when you were a kid, and they still affect your emotions, right? So never discount your kids' big emotions, because if as an adult you still have those same big emotions, your kids' emotions are that big that they never forget. That boy marked me in nerddom for the rest of my life. he made me just in love with intelligent boys, with book readers. And if it wasn't for my DID, man, I won't be upset about, it can hurt that things in my life didn't go the way I would have loved to orchestrate, but I do believe they go the way they are for a reason. But that's one boy I hope went off and became like a leader in the world. And I'm pretty sure he did. He could have not. He was a genius then, had me convinced. And he was the only one that could bring me out of my shell. Claiborne Holmes, man. Then there was Kenny with the big booty. He he was my brother Chris's close friend. That was always, I had a big crush on Kenny too. But I think my crush on Kenny happened more after Cedric moved. And he was, this is all 10, 11, 12 years old. And I still remember these people, you know. My brother, there was also, Marquette, who lived on the same street with me, right across the street from Mr. and Mrs. CB. Like, on the block I lived on in Claiborne Homes, I lived right across the street from that yellow store from Mr. and Mrs. CB. And so, yeah, my house, it was like, Peppa lived right here. Like, my next door neighbor was Peppa. And then there was me. And then there was that nice lady I used to babysit for that was a door down. And then a couple of doors down from that was Tamika and Marquette. And that's who I was dating Marquette for a minute, and my brother was dating Tamika. Claiborne Holmes was actually a lot safer when I was growing up there. I mean, safer. There was still a bullet hole in my room. In the same area that I was staying. I'd gone to go visit my uncle for the weekend, and I came back after that weekend, and there was a perfect video gun hole in my window where I usually stand to just to go look at boys or look at the neighborhood, and it hadn't been there before I left. So you never know how your guardian's angels work. I was staying with my Uncle James for the weekend. My Uncle James would come pick me up in Claiborne Homes a lot because he didn't like me being in the hood. And he'd take me to Frazier. Frazier was better at the time. Frazier is not like it is now. Frazier, Memphis was like a lot better at the time. So he'd take me to Frazier with my cousin Fran. And me and my cousin Fran were like the same age. She's born in December. No, she's born in November. I'm born in December, right? So me and my first cousin Fran would spend a lot of time together. That was my safety net in the hood, right? Because, most of the time, because my mother, bless her, and I'm not angry, had a severe crack problem. A lot of people did back in that day. From what I've heard, everything about it, it's a highly addictive drug. And when you're someone that's already in a lot of pain, and my mother was, it's easier to escape that way, right? And so, yeah, so Claiborne Homes, my mother was like that, but I was safe in Claiborne Homes still. The neighborhood took care of me. The hood watched out for me. And the hood and my guardian angels watched out for me. I remember a bad fight my brother got into in front of the yellow store in Claiborne Homes. This guy had a box cutter, and him and my brother were fighting, right? My brother Chris. Now all of a sudden my brother's face started leaking blood, and the guy ran off. He carried that scar forever. He was my brother was like 13, but he cut across the face with a box cutter, and I think he was fighting the boy because they were being disrespectful to me. I don't even know exactly how it went down, but I know he cut him deep in his face, and nobody took him to go get stitches. I remember going in the house and helping him clean it up, but as we got older, that scar never went away. It was on his cheek forever. So we were We were Navy brats. Like, we didn't understand what living in the hood really meant. We didn't understand. At least I didn't. Hey, baby.
The fire's good.
The fire's good? Oh, it's time for me to go barbecue, guys. I'll be back in just a bit. I love you. Ita. I say y'all. Let me see if I can get this to end.